paddy works on the railway. In 1842 from Hartlepool I moved to Crewe, found myself a job to do, working on the railway.
Hello, welcome back to my workshop. I did a video, actually went out this morning, about putting a long grind on a bowl gouge using the Proedge. One of the comments that came in was from Joe Booth, and I'll read it out. He said, "Hello, thank you for posting this video. Really helpful indeed. A question, if I may. I have the Proedge and I'm trying to work out if I'd be able to create a 30-degree long grind on a spindle gouge to create a detail gouge. The process only goes to 35 degrees, so when using either of the long grind holes, it would only allow either a 40 or 45 degree bevel angle due to the plus 5 degrees. All correct? Do you happen to know a workaround and how this could be done? Many thanks, Joe." Okay, right, full disclaimer, I have no interest in a 30-degree long grind spindle gouge. It's not something I would ever use. I do use a 35-degree spindle gouge as a detail gouge, but it's not a particularly long grind. But Joe's asked the question, and I don't know if it can be done as such, but let's have a play and find out. So if we go over to this camera, so there's the Pro set, and I don't know if it shows on camera, but 50 degrees, 45 degrees, 40 degrees, 30 degrees. So Joe is quite right, it doesn't go to 30. But if you measure this distance, and this distance, you can work out that 30 is going to be around about there. So you get your spindle gouge and you set it to, a problem. My spindle gouge isn't long enough to even reach 35. So you've got to have your spindle gouge in a removable handle to achieve this, because you're going well past the normal length. Now, I use these Ashwood components connector between a homemade handle and my tool. You can get these from Mark Beckett. I'll put his site in the description below. I actually designed this. I don't manufacture them because I don't work metal, but I designed it, and I've got a friend of mine who makes them and another friend who sells them. So they're available, and I have some. I have no further interest in apart from designing it. But anyway, get the handle out of the way and you're left with a spindle gouge on a bar, which brings another problem. If I take that to there, I've got to put my jig on a round bar. Now that's okay, perfectly doable. But you've got to make sure these are parallel and correctly positioned. Now you can sketch a line down like I've done here, and get a rough center line, and then you can do it by eye, which is what I do. I don't mess about with it. But if you position it like so, put a straight edge across it. Put a straight edge across it, then you can eyeball it all up, and you could even measure it if you wanted to make sure that it is straight and level. You could also, if you do it right, grind a flat all the way down the bar, which will give you a straight and level. Again, I eyeball it, but there's ways of being more precise. That's what I'm trying to say. Now then, this long wing, same as the bowl gouge. Let's go back over to the Proedge. And we're going to use the table set to 15 degrees to give us a long horseshoe. Standard method of sharpening. Now, I eyeball things, but you can use spindle gouge block as a straight edge to make sure that you keep those wings parallel. And then I've got a fairly long wing on that. So let's take this off. Finish with that now. So I've got my spindle gouge clamped right on the very end of the gouge. That's going to give me my 30 degree. As it's already going to give me my 30 degree with a fairly long edge on it, I'm just going to run it straight in the standard jig. Now I'm up above the flat plate behind. I'm using the tension of the belt only to get this. Okay, there's an issue. Okay, so I found a problem. If you go beyond the 35 degrees by a lot, then you come off the top of the metal plate. So I'm going to split the difference and I'm going to sharpen just on the top edge of that metal plate, because I do want some support behind the belt, and we'll see what the angle comes out at. Now I'm running right on the very edge of the belt here. I'm not happy about it. look over my shoulder because the screen's behind me. So there's a grind. Don't know what the wings are. Let's find out. Okay, they are somewhere between 30 and 35. It will be sharp, but not refined. Not a grind I would ever use personally. And actually not a grind I would recommend either. I think going beyond 35 is a bad plan. But it will probably cut. Let's chuck something on the lathe and find out. Okay, so I've got a piece of ash in my Record Power SC2 dome jaws. It's got a shoulder on it. It's not a big piece. Don't need a big piece for this. Back in the handle. And let's see how this cuts. Don't like that. That's pretty horrid. So I'm going back to the Proedge. I'm not going to take it back to 35 because I don't think that'll be enough to be of any advantage. So I'm going to take this down to 40. So it's basically just regrinding as it was. So the same length wing. Better. It's not delighting me, that cut, but it's better. I'm a little bit high there, I think. Might improve if I go down a little bit. Yeah, that kind of works. So in answer to your question, Joe, no, I don't think 30-degree can be achieved. In order to get to that, you're off the top of the backing plate on the Proedge, which is inaccurate. You're working on the tension of the belt, and yes, you're using a light touch, but the other problem I find is that the flute's quite shallow on the spindle gauge, so my wings are only just above the edge of the flute. Obviously the nose is level with the flute anyway, but my wings are only just above it, and it's not cutting nicely. Well, it wasn't cutting nicely, and that was at somewhere over 30 or under 35, 33ish maybe. So I brought it back now, and that's now a 40-degree long wing. Long wings achieved in the same way as the bowl gouge. Just put that on the system. I went above the 15-degree hole. I just clamped it to the metal above the 15-degree hole, so I'd guess 10 degrees ish. But it's not necessary. You can do it at 15, more secure, and it'll bring the wing back as you shape it anyway. Is it a grind I'd use? Well, I don't need this tool immediately, so I will sharpen it properly. Off the 60 grit. Why do I keep saying 60 degree? 60 grit belt. So it's sharp, but it's not refined. So I'll refine that edge and have a play with it. But I think it's not one that I would particularly choose to use. But then again, I would do this with a skew anyway. Now what I don't do very well with the skew is this curve here. So that's where it would come in. Yep, that's quite a small detail. I tried my best. If you enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, don't bother. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, because the more subscribers I've got, the happier I am. And thanks for watching. Cheers for now. See you on the next one.